And on Nine's Wide World of Sports, we welcome back to the 1986 Coca-Cola Classic from the Logan City Lanes here in Brisbane. And the fifth match of the women's series brings together two Queenslanders. Jo Ellen Day up against Joan Lepp. Certainly one of the tournament favourites for this event is Jeanette Baker-Flynn, the World Cup winner in 1982-83. How do you sum up this match, Jeanette?
Well, this could be interesting. Joan's riding on a high from her previous match, but I think Jo Ellen has got the ability to keep the game consistent and possibly come up at the end of the game.
Jo Ellen Day comes from the Gold Coast. She has a high game of 275. She was second in this year's South Pacific Classic. She's been a member of the Queensland Junior State team for 5 years, represented the Australian youth team for 3 years, and a member of the Australian senior team for 1 year. This year she was also a member of the Queensland State team. Joan Lepp is a housewife from the Brisbane suburb of Aspley. She has a highest game of 278. She was the Queensland Masters winner in 1982, has been a regular member of the Queensland State team, a finalist in the Coca-Cola Classic here at Logan City last year, and represented Queensland in the South Pacific Tournament in 1976, 77, and again in 1985.
An all-Queensland match in this five-state affair of the Coca-Cola Classic with Joan Lepp, last week's surprise winner against Cheryl Munson, in against Jo Ellen Day of the Gold Coast. Joan Lepp first to bowl on lane 11, match play style, 1 frame at a time to start, and then 2 frames while the other bowler sits down. Well, that was a good opening for Joan Lepp. We saw her leave a couple of 6 pins against Cheryl Munson
in what was quite an incredible game, Steve, against Cheryl Munson. In fact, Joan admitted later that she was the most startled person of all when she realised she won.
She was no more startled than you and I. We didn't know what was happening. I thought Cheryl had it well in her grasp and, of course, missed that spare for the second time. But that's history now, and Joan Lepp hoping to beat Jo Ellen Day. They've bowled against each other many times. They've been in the Queensland State team together on a number of occasions, so I don't think there'll be any love lost in this match, but they are pretty good friends off the lanes.
Jo Ellen Day, 21 years of age, from the Gold Coast.
And a vastly improved bowler is Jo Ellen Day. She finished second in the South Pacific Classic this year at Rush Cutter Bowl. She lost the grand final after being the top seed. Sue Rafael went on to win the tournament. One of the Victorian bowlers, and Sue finished 21st in the Bowling World Cup. And Jo Ellen Day wonders what might have happened had she won the South Pacific Classic. She only lost it by 6 pins, and that was a sign of maturity for this 21-year-old. She's come of age now in the bowling sport as well, and that was a great performance by her.
Well, not a good way to start with an open frame in the first, and maybe just a little sign of nerves, Steve.
Yes, perhaps, although she's been in a lot of big-time teams. She's bowled, as you said, in the Asian Zone and World Championships 4 times now, so she's had plenty of big-time experience. And she's just going to have to take stock of the situation. Second frame now for Jo Ellen Day.
Some wonderful prizes, $1,000, of course, for the winner, as well as that trip to America with Qantas.
And it's strikes like that could well earn Jo Ellen Day that trip to Las Vegas, where they'll be taking part in a tournament with a prize fund of 1.6 million Australian dollars, $1 million US. Picture of concentration. Jo Ellen Day just trying to collect her thoughts, hoping that the next time she gets up, she'll do the same thing again.
So Joan Lepp never looked like being anything but a strike.
Yeah, she's on a high now. That win by 2 pins over Munson must have really buoyed her. Look at that one, right in the strike pocket, her strike pocket. Good profile shot, a little bit of a bent arm, bent elbow as she lets the ball go, but she's been around the game a long time and is very, very accurate. 11 pins ahead after the first frame, a nice way to open. She'll be trying to put a head on this one now.
Leaves just the one standing, but she should have little problem in making her spare.
Yes, a bit of a lightweight ball there, and not enough drive to take through to that 5 pin. It's 22 inches behind the head pin, and in that space, the ball deflected somewhat. They were very evenly matched in the pre-tournament qualifying round here at Logan City Lanes. 5 pins the difference between these two in that qualifying tournament. They both averaged 190, and the seeds still to come. In 4th place was Bev Jamison of Queensland. In 3rd place, Jeanette Baker-Flynn of Victoria. 2nd place is Mary Flower of Queensland, and the top seed is Barbara Richmond, who is Joe Ellen Day's coach, with a 196 average. I say she's the coach. She's been her mentor for a couple of years as well, taken a couple of the ladies under her wing up here, so to speak. And since they've formed the Queensland Ladies Club up here, the QLC, all of the women have improved. And Joan Lepp sitting there with her family in the background. They're hoping that Mum's going to come through for another win.
Well, Jo Ellen Day's had a little bit of trouble on lane 12. This time she makes sure of the spare.
Still 11 pins the difference.
And Lepp with an 11-pin lead. Oh, and that really is now a very nasty split for Jo Ellen Day. She'll no doubt just have to try and cut her losses and take out the 2 pins.
Yeah, she's taking a deep breath there, and we can see there, didn't quite get a hold of it, but she didn't get the ball out the way she wanted to. Let it go a little bit short on the lane, and it jumped up when it got down near the pins, and cutting her losses, as you said, John. 55 in the 4th frame. Joan Lepp can take a very, very handy lead here if she can get a strike now.
So Jo Ellen Day certainly not at the moment bowling to her best with 2 open frames. And Joan Lepp realising that the door has been left wide open for her, makes no mistake about it.
Now, that's really when you have to take advantage of the situation that your opponent presents you with, and no better way than by knocking all the pins into the pit. Next year, we've got Australia versus America in a 3-test series. The top women professional bowlers from America coming over to play our best 6, but there's also international matches next year against Canada and New Zealand for middle average bowlers. There'll be qualifying rounds going on in various centres across Australia for that, and those international matches are going to take place overseas next year, and the following year those bowlers will come across to Australia and play us here. A big year coming up in 1987 in Australia. There's also a big week of bowling, John, in June the 22nd to the 28th, National Bowling Week. A whole lot of promotions and tournaments for all sorts of bowlers to play in at centres around the country.
So Joan Lepp makes sure of a spare.
Yes, that was a couple of good frames for her, a strike and a spare. And Jo Ellen Day really needs to put a double in here.
25 pins behind she is. The end of the 4th. And that's more like it.
Yes, she needs a couple more of those to catch up. 25 pins the difference. If she can get a strike, that'll cut it down to about 15 pins. And they don't come any better than that. The last pin to go, then the 7 pin. Jo Ellen Day, a picture of concentration. Quite a pretty picture too.
And a good crowd again in attendance here at the Logan City Lanes in southeast Queensland. Over to lane 11 and Jo Ellen Day.
Needs a double.
And
oh, yes.
So perhaps the comeback has started after a very shaky start for the young lass from the Gold Coast.
Yes, a beautiful shot this. Never going to be anything but a strike. And that's cut the difference to 15.
Now Joan Lepp.
A bit eager to get rid of that ball that time. Seemed to rush the shot a little. Joan Lepp's highest game in the qualifying tournament here was 257, and Jo Ellen Day had three pretty good games in that event, 222, 222 and a 235. So they're pretty much matched in brilliance when it comes to getting high scores when required. But that 8 spare will possibly cut the lead to maybe 13 pins if Jo Ellen Day can get another strike. And of course, that extra strike would cut it to just a couple of pins. So we've got a close one on our hands here. And Joan Lepp taking her time here. I haven't seen her take this much time before. She usually jumps up and bowls, but an important match. And Peter Lepp hoping that his wife is going to get a strike right now. Well, you were thinking wrong thoughts there, Peter. She didn't do it. And that's the spare that cost Cheryl Munson the game against Joan Lepp. 3 pins clustered together on the opposite side of the lane. And Joan's moving left this time to take a different tack at it. Let's see how she covers it. Well done.
No mistake about it.
Well, we've got an interesting situation now. Jo Ellen Day can take the lead with 2 strikes on the next 2 shots. Oh, excellent ball.
Beautifully bowled, Jo Ellen Day.
What a great shot that was. Now have a look at the pin action here. Oh, she's improved out of sight. There are a lot on the market. That one's a power wrister, but there's 7 or 8 you can choose from.
Now on lane 12, Joan Lepp hits back immediately with a strike.
And that keeps her in a 3-pin lead, 135 to 132. And that's the way to come back when you're in trouble. Carried the 7-9 last. That was a good ball. She drove that with the authority. No question about it. Well, Peter's very pleased with that one. And, well, he might be. We have got a game on our hands here. 2 strikes in a row. 2 times she visited the lanes, and you don't get them any better than that one. Perfect pocket placement for Joan Lepp, and now it's up to Jo Ellen Day again to make a comeback.
Well, she's done it before. Can she do it again? She just fails. That 1 pin just rocking gently, but refusing to fall.
Let's have a look at it. Yes, the ball jumped late, and the 2-pin went to the side to hit that 4-pin. It did, but not hard enough. So a bit of bad luck for Jo Ellen Day. That could well have been a strike. But she's still got opportunity to bowl a 201, and that will be a tall order for Joan Lepp in the 10th frame. I'm a bit reluctant to say too much about this one. Last time I said anything about a women's match, I was totally out of order. Jo Ellen Day needs 3 strikes in a row in this 10th frame to bowl a 201 game. Let's see how she goes.
Well, there's one of them.
That was a tremendous ball. Excellent. Great follow through all the way out in the lane, and watch it rip the 5-pin. Oh boy, that's good stuff. Very, very impressed with Jo Ellen Day. She's possibly Australia's most improved bowler in 1986, and that's a big statement to make, but I don't know if anyone could question it.
And again looks good with the same result. Beautifully bowled.
Well, one wonders if that rocking 4-pin of just a couple of shots ago will cost her the match. But that's a great comeback in the 10th frame. 2 strikes in a row. when just about all hope was gone. And once again, under pressure, excellent follow-through, and the required result. She needs all the pins she can get on this count ball now, on the fill ball. Looks like another... oh, that's a bad count. But a good game all the same, 198. Just tidying up the dirty washing before Joan Lepp comes up in the 10th frame. I wonder what's going on in Joan Lepp's mind at this moment. She needs a spare or a strike to win. And that's all. I don't know what she'd be going for. I think I'd go for the strike and assume that I'm going to get 9, but it's a tough decision for her to make. She's going for the strike. That's a pretty good-looking ball. Only the 5-pin.
She should have little trouble in picking up the spare to give a victory.
Yes, a spare and a 5 count will win her the game. So it seems as though that poor count of Jo Ellen Day's on the 10th frame bonus ball, and also the 7 count she had after 3 strikes in a row in the 8th, could cost her the match. I don't believe it.
Well, who would have thought it? Joan was amazed when she won the last game against Cheryl Munson. And who would have believed that she could have bowed out in that fashion? 198 to 192, and Jo Ellen Day of the Gold Coast goes through to the next round with an amazing finish.